everyone. My name is Misty Gaither, and welcome to Quest, a journey into the true crime and paranormal. I am here with Sean Michael Rutherford, also known as Auntie Sean.
Hey, my darling.
One of the premier psychic mediums here in New Orleans, and also with my friend and co-host Cody McLean. And what we're doing today is we're going to talk about our gifts and how that you can recognize in your own self. Maybe that you have a gift. Maybe you haven't thought about it before. Maybe you haven't, you just need someone to point it out to you or something, and you can develop the courage within you and explore your own gifts. So how are you doing? You was on the show last month, and it was so much fun.
I loved it. It was so nice being on like a actual podcast, not me and my phone and a crappy mic in my bedroom.
No. Those TikTok lives are fabulous. I've seen them.
Right. I was going to say you are selling yourself short because you have a big TikTok following and you do a lot of great lives. So
Thank you. I just hit 80,000 yesterday, and I'm very happy about that. I've been plugging away, shaking a little ass on the street, But yeah, it's doing this work does take a lot of courage. It's because God knows you're going to get put out there, and people are going to be like, "You're ridiculous. You're delusional." I have 12 therapists who agree that I am not.
there you go.
So I have been certifiably not delusional.
Yeah. So how do you like the question that you really get asked a lot being a psychic medium, when you have people that come up to you and say, "Hey, do you have the lottery winning numbers?" Do you get that often?
I was like, yes, I did until you asked me that question, and now it's gone because Spirit doesn't think you're deserving. No, I run it. That's not how...
You were right. You were so close.
You got selfish and you asked for it.
You screwed up.
Man,
Right.
if you just wouldn't have asked and not been
It's
selfish.
going to be somebody in like Pine, Louisiana, something
Right.
that wins. Not around here.
Hopefully somebody there who has like 3 months on their rent and they need to get caught up, hopefully. But no, I just give them the same. It's, I try to remind people that, nothing is always 100%, and it's one of those things where I feel like we should get this number, and that one number might be in it because that one you could pick up, but it's it's gambling. That's meant to screw you over. So I just remind that this isn't the idea of getting a set of numbers. It's about seeing avenues of intention. Those little ping pong balls ain't got no intentions.
Well, I'll tell you
Well,
what.
no.
If psychics and mediums had all the winning numbers, there would be a lot more psychic and medium winners.
And the Powerball would be shut down.
And it would be shut down.
We would be like, we know who's going to win this month. We know it's going to be me.
We'd get together and have like a little group, like who's going to take it this time?
Yes. Seems like Sean's going to win in November. Right. So I think it's wrong, to use your gift or try to use your gift that way.
I agree. I think getting a little too selfish in it becomes distorted in the idea of like sharing the power kind of thing, where it is not meant to be everybody's getting all of one thing. I think people who you see these lottery winners who go insane and like drive a Mercedes off a bridge because of being stupid. I think hoarding too much and being too selfish kind of makes you crazy. So I think that's why we never really have the ability to get all of the pieces.
Right. And yeah, because people, they think that, okay, when you're doing a reading or whatever, and you're going to, someone's grandpa comes and they think that it's going to be like this long, drawn out story from your grandpa telling you, this, that, this, and it's not necessarily that way. It's more like a clue thing. It's more like you get bits and pieces, because what some people do not understand or maybe fail to even think about is they have to have so much energy to even convey messages, or even, because you're like, okay, we'll move this pen, if for yes or no. And it's just, it's so much energy that's required. And plus, it just doesn't work that way.
I've told people who don't do what I do full time that they probably get more instinctual messages from their loved ones than I do on a daily basis. Because I'm always aware that I need to go do this. I need to get prepared for this client. I know what these signs look like. So when I see something, I'm like immediately, oh, that's my mom. I need to deal with this. And I stop following that natural flow of my day. Whereas people who don't do this are like, oh, feather from my mom, I'm going to go do this. And they just go about their day. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh my God, I got here and I won $100. Because you're actually more in the flow than the person who is above it seeing it. And so people are like, well, I can't do that. I'm like, I guarantee you do it on a daily basis. I guarantee people who say, I don't do this, do it on a daily basis. And it's where you get that luck, or you wind up to work 10 minutes early, even though you were running behind, but you happen to, I'm gonna turn left here. I don't know why. And you're 10 minutes early. That kind of stuff is people being intuitive on a natural level.
Maybe for people that don't understand or whatever, like when you say on the natural level, that just means that it just kind of flows and that you
Yeah.
don't have a gift and it's just like left up to chance or whatever. Is
Well,
that
yeah.
what you're...
When you're driving down the road, you see signs and billboards, and you see the cow out in the pasture. I'm from the country, not the city, so.
Same.
So you see these things, and they're coming at you as you're driving along the road. The road is time. The road is your life. The road is the environment that you're going to experience throughout your day. And you, in the car, are your intuition, and it's your logic that's like, I got to watch out for the rearview mirror, and I got to check my blind sides, and I make sure I'm not going too fast. Someone who is not, someone who's more naturally connected to the drive, enjoying it for just a scenic route, just enjoying the ride, is not as panicked and worried about all the mechanisms. And they're paying attention to the road sign over there and the cow in the pasture. And oh, look, there's somebody in a bike all the way over on that hill. Someone who is doing this actively is more aware of, are my mechanisms correct? Am I always in the right lane? Am I going the correct speed? Because we have to maintain a balance within ourselves so that way when we need to turn it on, we can. And so we are always aware of the car that we're in versus the environment that we're driving in. And so when people say, Brandon, or someone who may not do this for you every day, who's just like, I feel like I need to bring an extra cable to the podcast. Mm-hmm. And then they get there and they realize, oh, a mouse chewed through the one that was here. I didn't know why I needed to bring this extra cable. Someone like us who does this on a daily basis, I should bring a cable. No, it's going to be fine. We're used to getting signs so much that we overthink it and then we just kind of compartmentalize it.
Right.
So I tell people, like, if you're just naturally living your day, you're going to get so much more stuff. And that's when you're like, teaching people, I'm like, just pay attention to the signs. If you get them, think about them. And that's the difference between someone who's naturally living their life in an intuitive way, just following them, versus someone who does what we do, which is interpreting them.
It does make sense. And also, being a psychic medium, and I'm still learning, I don't consider myself like an expert or whatever, but I'm really, serious about my journey and perfecting my gift. But some psychic mediums are mostly mediums, like they're so in tune with their gift and what they do is like their bodies. Mm-hmm. Like all of a sudden, like they may get like a pain or something that they normally don't get, and they know that it's not their body.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, are you having like stomach issues or headaches or did your mom or whatever that you get that's coming through. And I think that's, to be that in tune with not only the spirits, but also yourself. You have to know yourself before you can do something like this, because it doesn't matter if you don't know yourself first.
Girl, the first time I felt a stroke, I panicked. The entire left side of my face went numb.
Oh, wow.
Like all of my left side of my face. And I started tingling and went numb, and I was like, okay, I'm fat. This could be a real stroke. So I got real concerned. I was like, hold on, this could actually be me. And I leaned over to a friend of mine, because this was in a mediumship class. We were just learning from someone else. And I said, you're a nurse. What does a stroke feel like? And they're like, yes, this. And your side of your face might go numb. I was like, I'm having a stroke.
Oh.
And then someone was like, no, my dad that you were just talking to died from a stroke. And I was like, never again. Don't do that.
Right.
It is very hard to be so aware all the time. But it's incredible, because when you have this, like the stories of my body being messed with by dead people, could be a book.
Okay.
I had a grandfather make me constipated all day until after the reading when I thought I wasn't going to make it to the toilet.
Got you.
And I was like, I am like crying. Like, I'm like, man, I'm going to have to cancel this session. Like, my stomach's bothering me. I'm thinking I must have eaten too much cheese the day before, child. And so I'm like, okay, call the client. I'm going to push through. Call the client. And all of a sudden I start getting more pain. I'm like, was there like stomach cancer? Like, yeah. I was like, did he not poop for 2 weeks before he died? They're like, yeah. And I was like, oh, please, you son of a bitch. And I was like, I was like, okay, I finished the session. And I mean, as soon as I hit end call, I'm so sorry for the claps. As soon as I hit end call, floodgates. And I ran across my house. And so, like, it happens, but it's that out of nowhere. And those mediums who are just so into, no, I'm good. Y'all can leave my body alone.
Yeah, we're good. So let me ask you this. Now, do you stay, like, in an own state of mind all the time? Or do you shut yourself off? Or do you just kind of like, you don't have to do either. It just ebbs and flows.
A lot of what I did early on as a kid was from trauma. And so I do believe that at some point my little radar became on permanently just to, hey, there's someone behind you, be aware of that because of past traumatic experiences. So there is a part of me that's always aware until you're like a friend of mine or someone who's like, hey, Sean, what do you feel about this? I was like, nay, closed, off. Because it is, all of my friends know that there is a face that I'll make. We'll be out in public, we'll be at dinner. And have one of my friends, David, and he was like, I noticed it years ago that we'll be talking and you'll be just fine, we're having dinner, and then you'll go quiet and you'll just like drift. Mm-hmm. And you won't even notice it. And he's like, and I'm like, who are you talking to? And so there is this kind of ebb and flow. And I think it's my Piscean nature. But for the most part, if I go to like the post office, close down, close for business. If I go to the supermarket, close for business. Down Bourbon Street,
Close.
Nay. No. No, never.
Yeah.
Went to Las Vegas and I was like, don't bother me. Not even once. There's certain places where I'm just like, it's too much. It's too much.
Yeah, and you know, some people maybe not understand that you have to set boundaries. Because if you don't, it's like and for a while there, I would not set boundaries because I was like, oh, well, some spirit may need me, and I'll be shut down, and they can't get to me, and I can't help them, and finally, I just had to learn where you have to, for your own mental and your own relationship that you have with spirit, you have to set the boundaries, because sometimes if you don't set them, they'll be set for you.
Mm-hmm. It's why I like having friends like, who know that I'm really crass and have a very dark, morbid sense of humor. Because they'd be like, Sean, aren't you worried? I'm like, they did. They fine. They ain't got bills to pay. We good. Well, what if they're upset? I was like, well, they can, I don't know, reincarnate. Like, I've had to become very dissociated from the worry about stuff like that because my rent's due on the 1st. And so I have things to do.
Right.
And I'm around a lot of people who don't do this. And it's like, I don't want to be hanging out with Cody. And all of a sudden it's like, oh, by the way, your grandmother. No.
Right.
I'd let you do that.
He would want a free reading.
No, I wouldn't. I've always
joking.
paid for my readings, thank you. But that's interesting. What if my grandma is trying to tell me something? I don't have the patience or the attention span to pay attention to ladybugs or different shapes in the sky or something else going on. If it's work, sure, I'll pay attention to a lot of stuff. But whenever I'm just out and about, I'm not paying attention to anything.
But I guarantee that's wrong. If I shadowed you all day, I could guarantee you I could see you making small changes based on little things that popped up that you noticed. Because everyone does it. Because it's very instinctual. It's the difference between like getting to a light and it turning yellow and deciding I'm going to turn right and go around the block instead of waiting for this light. Versus I'm going to choose to sit here and wait.
No, I just do that because I'm very impatient and I hate traffic.
But that
and I get angry.
That is still part of like I'm going to do this. That framework of your nature plays into how the universe works with you. If you're at work and you're very aware of things, they probably do not bother you at work because you are heavily focused on your job. Whereas when you're on your daily basis not paying attention, the unsolved things like unsolved mysteries and sightings where they're like, I was a flight attendant and there was a person in the seat and I was talking to them but nobody else saw them. That crap happens.
Yeah.
Because your subconscious mind is paying attention to the world around you and your conscious mind is off in Timbuktu. And your subconscious mind is where your intuitive nature lies. From the day our mind starts creating memories, our subconscious mind is awakened, and the day we die is when it stops working. We see 100% of everything through our subconscious mind. That is ruled by your peripheral vision. And if you are just kind of enjoying your day, going about it, not paying attention to anything, your conscious mind isn't really working too hard. Your subconscious mind is keeping you alive. It's noticing that someone might pull out in front of you. All those little subconscious things going on around you, that's where spirit is coming in, and you'll see someone standing there that's not actually there. You'll hear your name called, and no one's actually calling your name because your subconscious is aware of frequencies and things that are not consciously noticeable. And so that's why I'm like, I guarantee you I could follow you around and see you noticing little things because we'll be out with people who are who are very left-brained, who are very just like, I don't believe in this, and they'll be like, we'll be doing something like, oh, excuse me, and I'm like, who are you saying excuse me to? Oh, that person. Nay, nobody passed you, baby. And
I
like,
did that to a mannequin once, but that was a mannequin.
Well, no, that's fine. If you saw that, it's fine. But I'm talking about like you probably experienced more spirits or spiritual remnants, like echoes, than you realize.
I guess I just never really pay attention to it.
That's fine.
Yeah. So maybe we should hang out and you'll be like, I'll bet.
We will bet.
Look what you did. Look what you just did. My question was this, though. You shut your brain off to spirits sometimes. You're like, hey, look, not right now. You ever get spirits angry at you because you shut off your brain?
What do they have to be angry about?
That they wanted you to hear a message right then and there, and you weren't taking that message.
Who has the time?
I don't know. But
Okay. The reason why they don't get mad is because time does not exist for them. It does it for us. We are on a pivotal destination towards the end of time of our lives.
Yeah.
So we have an amount of time to live. When we work for spirit, we give that time that we are living to them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of the exchange. I take the little time that I'm given here, say maybe 85, 100 years to live, and I'm taking my 10 minutes to give to spirit. Spirit's up there going, I'm eternal, bitch. I ain't got nothing to do. And they're up there going, we will wait for you. So there's never been anyone angry. I've had issues where they are not patient. And they will agree to things that I don't know how they agree to. So I've had it where I'm in a coffee shop working on schoolwork and asking them, I cannot do that right now. I'm working on this. I need to get it finished in the next couple of hours. But if you absolutely need to get this message across right now, do X, Y, and Z. Make the person move next to me, tell them to introduce themselves to me, bring you up, and bring up the somehow spirit or whatever. And I'm like, if you do all of that, sure. Okay, I'll do it. Okay. If you can do that, yeah, okay. Bet. Spirit would be like, I'm betting on this. Here's $5. I'm gonna make it happen. And within 5 minutes, and I've had this happen multiple times. Where I was at a dinner, we went to dinner at a restaurant whose name I'm not going to name because they don't pay us for it. I had a strong feeling to give a message to the waitress, and I said, I'm not doing that. She's working. She's busy. I'm not going to mess up her night. I said, however, if I have to give it to her tonight, give me a sign that I will never see her again because we come here often and she's been here every time. I need this sign, this sign, this sign. Comes back with our food. She goes, yeah, tonight's my last night, and gives every sign.
Wow.
And I was like, son of a biscuit. And she's like, I don't know why, I just wanted to let y'all know, because I know y'all come here often, I just want y'all to know this. All right, so your mama wants you. And it's happened. It might happen twice a year.
Yeah.
But it happens, and because spirit can mess with the world around you when they want to. And otherwise, they recognize your boundaries. And it was because she was leaving. Because I was never going to see her again. Because she moved to the West Bank. God knows I'll never go there. And except for crawfish. But I've never seen it again. It's been 2 years since. And so they will do those things. But I don't know. They don't get mad. They don't get mad for nothing.
I wish my grandma and uncle were that adamant to talk to me. Jeez.
See, I did just say grandmother though. That was kind of interesting. Okay, continue.
And maybe that they have tried to talk to you. You just haven't like recognized it.
I need to try harder.
Yeah. And sometimes not maybe try, just listen. And
Y'all told me that last time. Whenever I see something that I keep noticing, stop and think about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been trying to do that, but it's not something that's repetitive. It's not like I said, I don't know, a ladybug or a butterfly or something in the sky or nothing. Unless it's the dog peeing on the ground.
We see it a lot, like when we see true crime shows. So sorry. When we see true crime shows, there's this sense of like, oh, I didn't know this person was going to do this. I didn't see any signs. Well, 2 weeks ago, I did have a feeling that I should, I don't know, keep an eye on this person. That happens all the time. And I wish people would pay attention to that more. Because that's why I like watching true crime and unsolved mysteries, because you'll see the family like, we had no idea we were going to be a mass murderer. And then like the mom's like, but I had this really weird feeling a couple weeks ago that I should hide the cat.
for real.
And you're like, and then you're like, yeah, because it was really odd. And like the next week, the neighbor's cat went missing. Yeah, but yet you had a feeling you should hide your cat. You see this all the time in these movies where they're or these TV shows, and they'll interview people, and they're like, there was no sign this person was gonna, tragically do this thing. And then they mention one. I mean, they were talking about X, Y, and Z, and I felt there was this, and because it's there, it's in everybody.
Yeah. Or they were loners.
Oh, they were roommates.
Right, they were loners and kept to themselves.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot. Like serial killers and yeah, always like look for the weird looking glasses. Because if you'll notice, a lot of them, wear that, and then they're
I have very normal glasses.
okay. Well, that's good. That's good. Thank you, Jeffrey Dahmer. But
No.
You didn't disagree to anything else about being a loner and all that, but okay.
Oh,
Right.
no, I'm not a loner. Just take one good look at my life. I am not a loner.
but like you said on the true crime
Yeah.
shows, it's always they kind of stayed by themselves, and they didn't have any friends, and I mean it's basically the same, just about.
They scowled at everybody who drove by their house.
Well, that would be a lot of people.
They opened the window and did
Right.
this
Right.
and then closed it.
Clutching my pearls, my bad.
So I mean, like I always say, the signs are there, and maybe I don't know if you're not like looking, or maybe you're
Maybe it's
looking
just
too
that.
hard, or I mean I don't
Maybe
know.
it's just that. I'm just not looking. I go through my day to day doing little intuition things, but not paying attention to, I don't know, whatever it is that I'm supposed to be paying. A flower that just bloomed on a weed in a little alleyway next to my house that never has flowers. I don't know.
That.
Oh, that's never
That.
happened, but
That's a good one to look out for. If you're in an area where there's never any flowers, and you're like, man, this place never has any flowers, the next day you show up and there's a flower there,
Yeah.
that's a very clear sign.
That's the sign.
And that's things people are like, oh, it's just nature. I mean, it is. But like, it's the proximity to the question, not the thing itself. It's the proximity to the moment.
I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna have a heart attack if I walk out my house tomorrow for work and there's a flower in that alleyway.
Just
Hey,
let me know when you
yeah,
die, I'll
be sure
here.
to let us know, and then we can come back the next week. We were right as usual.
Yeah.
I'll be like,
Right.
shut up.
But I did a lot of this. I mean, growing up watching sightings and unsolved mysteries.
Oh yeah.
My partner and I are planning on doing like a watching unsolved mysteries, because I was like, let's play with it. Because I don't like doing cases with people who are alive, like cases with people who are currently have living loved ones who are mourning. But those old original unsolved mysteries with the cool voice.
I watch it every day.
Like
No lie.
I like not vibing into what happened, but like she knew. That person knew. They're in on it. Like,
Oh, you said that last
I
time.
love that
Yeah.
stuff. I
Yeah.
love not
Yeah.
necessarily trying to figure out what happened, but like I want to know who's lying. I want to know who. Oh well, they just disappeared.
Yeah.
No, they didn't, because it's what I love is reading people's intentions, and that's one thing that I grew up. My mom was very much she calls herself like a human lie detector. She's like, no, I can tell someone's off, and they would never fail. Like our dog wouldn't like them, and she's like, see, told you. And so
Right.
And I like that, because I think as psychics and mediums, what I wish could get more into is testing that ability to sense someone's intention. I'm not saying I want to be in a courtroom because I don't care, but it would be nice to work with companies where it's like, not on a corporate capitalist idea, but working for places where an incident happens, where someone gets hurt, and it's like, they push them into the meat grinder. Yeah, they did that.
Oh God, jury duty would hate you.
Like, I would absolutely want, because I have had so many times where people are like, no, I don't plan on doing that, don't plan on that. And I'm like, yeah, they do. Write it down. And then they do it. And I'm like, yeah, because it's super easy to read people's intentions because they tend to not change all that often. You can change your mind, but your intention, how you plan your life, tends to not change all that often. So yeah, I would love, like, the Unsolved Mysteries. I don't care about how someone died. I want to know who in their life lied about knowing this stuff happened.
Oh yeah, because somebody knows something.
Oh yeah, always.
Oh, yeah.
Always.
I do watch it every day, and it's like
There is always
Like,
somebody.
working with detectives, like, they bring you along and you just sit in the living room and I'd just be like, and then, like, what? They lied about this, they lied.
right.
They
They're
lied
just
about-
liars. They're all liars.
They told the truth about having toe fungus, but they lied about this.
Right. Right. And that's what when Carrie Roy, I don't know if you got to meet her
I did not.
at Winter Wonderland. Oh, see, if I known, I would introduce. I don't know.
This one kept me talking.
You stop.
When Carrie Roy was on the show a couple of weeks ago, we were talking about, how I always try to work in true crime with the paranormal because it is so important to me, because I really feel that it should be more of a tool for investigators to use, just like the genealogy, the DNA, and has become such a, 60, 70-year-old cases that have been cold for, that long. And now they're being able to identify Jane Does and John Does just from, doing all the research. And I was saying that I really, is my goal, to have more of a relationship with it, to be more mainstream, I guess you'd say, for psychic mediums to be used in cases. So we were talking about that, and she was agreeing about it because there is such a need for that, but because of the cynicism, and even though that more people believe in mediums and the paranormal and life after death, and there's a bigger percentage of that now, it's still not an acceptable thing. I mean, it is a little more than what it used to be, but it's still, you have that kind of that cloak over it, or some people just can't grasp.
Yeah, that very shadowy nature. Everyone thinks it's always like, smoke and mirrors. And I'm like, I get why you feel that way, and it's fine. But I love the idea of, I would love to do cold cases. Because at this point, nothing else is being found out about it at all. What's the harm of bringing in a psychic or medium to give any perspective? Take it with a grain of salt, that's fine. And if you are investigating these things, or you have someone who wants to investigate them, but it's gone cold, what's the problem with bringing in someone who might offer something that gives you direction? And then if you find evidence to back it up, there you go. I get that there's things we can't make an entire case on a psychic's word, which is fine, I agree. But having it as a resource where things have gone cold, especially in a cold case or something that's not actively being run on, I love that idea.
Yeah, and she also liked it too, because and I know some cases that she has worked on in the past, with law enforcement, and so I personally, that and I think you would too. I mean, that would be our gig, to just get to go and just, to me, to use your gifts to help someone in that area to solve and to bring so much closure and peace to a family. And like I said, I always say, you're not bringing peace and closure just to a family member, but also to the dead, because they need that too.
And to the people who spent their careers trying to solve these things. I mean, like,
Yeah.
if I was a investigator who spent 10 years working on a case, that's 10 years of my life that I put towards one or two these cases that just I never felt like I could solve. Whether it's an ego thing or not, whether it's helping the family or not, that person put that time in it. and they deserve to see that their hard work, especially if they're passionate and ethical, should come to fruition. I love, for me, like one of my loves is reading into someone's past. Like I love doing psychic readings on people, doing what I call reading their file, being like, oh, you had dealt with this with your parents, your mother was abusive, da da da, and seeing into their past. Like I love going to buildings and doing like, oh, I feel like this used to happen here, or someone would bring me like an item of their mom's, and I'm like, oh yeah, and she dealt with this. I love that stuff because I love getting more details for someone's history. I helped someone find like genealogy before, and because the future is fine, everyone's like, I want to know what's going to happen tomorrow. But if you can analyze your past, you can learn from it, and then you can make better decisions. So when it comes to like that, I love the idea of being like, hey, we think it happened here. Can you sense that? Well, let's go investigate the building. Yeah, there's a major trauma that happened here this time of year. Da, da, da. I love that, and it gives insight. And I think we should be doing that. Also, I'm nosy.
So you were talking about how that like you want to like touch an item or whatever, and so that's called psychometry. And is that something that you
I used to do that quite often. Working virtually. I stopped doing that because after the pandemic, I got really, because I worked in the hospital during the pandemic, so I got real paranoid about like nobody comes to my house who's a client, just friends and family. And then I got kind of on this ethical kick of not needing items, and I'm recently getting back out to working in person again because I'm kind of finding shops around town to do what I'm calling mediumship and healing work.
He was recently at the Witch Depot.
Yes, where you can get Annie Shawn spray.
Yes, I have to make some more because Garrett, we're running out.
Oh, there you go.
4 cases of that, and they're almost sold out again. Yeah, so I would, we went, and so I have someone like bring me a shirt, bring me a ring, bring me a photo. And what happens is that person's energy has been like a record etched into this object, especially if they wore it a lot. And sometimes I can be like, oh, this is a gift. This was, no, I didn't know this was a gift. And they find out later from a aunt, oh yeah, like your grandmother gave this to your mom. She didn't buy it for herself. And now here's this piece of history. This person knows like, oh, this was not just my mom's, it was my grandmother's gift to her. So it's connected to my grandmother as well. And that's what I love about psychometry and just going to places and picking up history. Going to someone's house. I did this for back when I was still in Lafayette. We went to someone's house and I saw her son had passed, and I get to her property and I see him in a cowboy hat with those like the stick horse riding around. And I see him in the yard doing this. I said, he used to do this all the time. She's like, yeah. I said, because just being on the property, you're getting memories of things that happened there. I've been places and seen Native Americans, and I've seen enslaved people working on a property, and I'm like, I don't want to go there. I'm good. Like, especially those old plantations out in the countries and the boondocks. I hate that. But you go there and you'll see these memories of things that happened there, and giving light to them not only honors the dead and people who've been hurt there and harmed there, but it also says like, look at this beautiful tree that grew in this place. Like, life continues and moves on. There's a lot of healing in that.
So you do the psychometry. Now, what about automatic writing? Have you done that?
No, I've tried. But my ADHD gets in that really bad.
You'll
I start getting really particular about what I'm trying.
Oh, got you. Now, I've done that some, and I have actually gotten good results from it. And I haven't really done a lot of psychometry, so I'm going to have to really try to hone in on that to try to see, about doing that. Now, let me ask you this. So you are like me, and you really want to, like, maybe branch out and help with cold cases and stuff. So what cold case, no matter how old or whatever, would be like your dream case to work on?
Okay, so you're going to hate me when I say this. I don't know any specifics.
Okay.
I tend to, because of getting so emotionally involved in these things, I tend to not watch the news. I don't watch the news. I don't watch these things. I don't watch... I watch Unsolved Mysteries, which is all those things, but I don't watch anything local, mostly because of my ethics, which are I've always been very top-notch with. I don't want someone's mom to show up to me and their kid was died and I saw it in the news. So I don't watch a lot of that. So I will have, you could bring me a cold case and I would never have heard of it because I don't look into it. So I'm like one of those like clean slates to know nothing about anything because I also just don't get involved with people. But so
well, there's that.
I'm the loner. Yeah.
Oh, the loner.
I'm the loner.
Right.
Loner with the glasses.
Right. Well, no, they're not. They aren't those glasses.
They're the
though.
cute ones that
Right.
are cobalt blue.
Right.
But no, yeah, I don't know of any personal ones. The one we talked about last time I was on the podcast interested me quite a bit, as y'all well remember.
Yep.
But that's one I definitely would not mind being a part of, because that, to be ethical, skirting the ethical boundaries here, I was very connected to that case. When I was here, I kept staring at her picture. I couldn't not focus on her. I felt very attached to that woman. But that's about all I'll say with that.
Okay. Because I felt the same way about her, like a few years ago when I first discovered the case, and it was just something about her that I just really was drawn to, and so I don't know. I think that my dream case would be maybe, I don't know why I'm like all into the axe murders, but like for the Villisca axe murder, like to really try to figure out what happened, when whomever killed the 2 adults and the 6 kids.
Oof.
Something like that. Yeah, 6 kids.
God bless.
Yeah. So, I just, you have this gift, and of course, it's kind of maybe naive or whatever, and you're like, well, I want to do it for good, and but you really do, and it's like, why wouldn't you, if you have the capability and you have, maybe one day you have the answers.
Mm-hmm. My partner turned me on to watching this show on YouTube, this series on YouTube. I don't remember the name of it because I'm terrible with that. And he's like, yeah, they look at these unsolved things. I was like, okay, we'll watch it. And so the whole time he's just like, what do you think happened? What do you think happened? What do you think actually happened? And there was one where a guy's body wound up on shore and he had a page of something in his pocket.
Oh, the Talman
Yes.
man.
I got really, and I was like, oh, I know.
Was
I know.
that where the note was in like some sort of cryptic?
It was,
Yes.
Yeah.
It was like Talman.
It was it was deciphered from the Talmud. It was the guy was Jewish or something.
Yeah.
And it was a whole love interest, and so he's like, "What do you think happened?" And I was like, "Oh, I think this and this happened. I feel this is what happened."
Mm-hmm.
And then when it ended, I think it was like Shane and something. Like that. Not Shane Dawson, but I don't remember who the people are. So these 2 guys, and when they get to the end of it, they kind of touch on something about what I had said. And he's like, "What?" Because Aiden's a numerologist, and he'll do. We'll be watching some of these unsolved mysteries, and then when someone like Jeffrey Dahmer or something, he'll be like, "I'm gonna look up their information. I'm gonna do their numerology," and so he's always looking to find like certain numbers that serial killers or murderers will have, and because he loves that tracking with numerology too. But he's like, but with you, he's like, I can get their number and I can see that this number leads to people being like this. But he's like, with you get the why and the how. And I was like, that doesn't always equal what you think it does. But it does. For me, I think if I were to get involved in code cases, I'd want like 10 laid up on a table face down, and maybe like psychometry, this one.
Right.
I don't want to know anything. I want to go into it
yeah.
completely blind. And I think that's why maybe I'm never meant to watch any of these cases or know about them. Because if I ever do get involved, like Sean's a clean slate. Because I'm nosy, but I'm not like, I don't want to watch the news nosy.
Got you.
Well, I'll tell y'all,
Well, I don't
I'm
watch a lot.
blessed. I am blessed, and let me tell you why. If any mysterious circumstances happen to me, I have 2 people in front of me right now
You're good.
who'd start nosying around.
She would nosy around. I am not nearly that polite. I'd be like, where the heck is Cody? What?
Let me touch his shit.
Right. I'd be like,
Let me touch your Pauline.
I'd be looking at people. I'd be like, you did something. Come
Right.
here.
Well, Cody would be easy. You did it.
The last thing I want to touch on real quick though
Sure.
with that is finding people is when people are like, well, they're missing, and I get a lot of people who are like, I have to remind them, this could be a loved one who is dealing with domestic violence. This could be someone who's dealing with a very serious situation that they disappeared with. And I always want to mention that because I think the reason why we're not always meant to just get involved is because Spirit knows who they're protecting and Spirit knows who they're not protecting. And so it's like, if we just go, oh, my son's missing. How old is he? He's 25. I don't know. He may have left you because you may have been abusive. So I just want to mention that every time we talk about like finding things, that this is why I think it's good to be very particular about how you work these cases, because that person could have a beautiful life and you find them and their abuser and could still be alive.
Right. And they'll be like, thanks, Misty, for Yeah.
Thanks, Auntie Sean.
Right.
You're welcome.
Yeah. We found them. Thanks. We didn't want to be found.
Good job, Misty. High five.
Right. Woo. Way to go. So I appreciate you so much for being on the show, and we're having a Christmas show, a holiday special next month. You'll be joining us for that.
Yes, I'm so excited.
So it'll be shown December around the 16th or 17th that it'll be aired. So y'all be looking for that. And I mean, I could just really talk about, you know, being a psychic medium, the paranormal, cold cases, all this. I could honestly talk about it for hours.
And that's
hours.
why you do what you do.
Yeah.
Trying to guess who that person that came out of Cody's house was and what they just did. Yeah.
I remember. I know who it is. No, I'm joking. But but seriously, you know, it really is. And what is how can someone get in touch with you if they would like to have a reading from you?
I am on, my website is psychic-sean, that's SEAN.com. That is psychic hyphen, the little one that floats, SEAN.com. And I'm on TikTok and Instagram as Medium Auntie Sean.
So you heard it here, and appreciate everybody for listening. And this has been Quest, a journey into the true crime and paranormal, and we will see you next week. Thank you.